his audio issues last week, I did get to try out the adaptive noise reduction in Audacity
Yeah, how was
or
it?
Audition. It's like dark magic. Like I just turned it on the track, and it just
Mm-hmm.
figured it out and eliminated all of that noise.
Okay, I'm not sure if this is the one that I used for ODNF or not, so you may have to point me to a Google search. Um,
Remind me after we're done. I will show you on my screen. It's really easy.
okay, I have millions of post-it notes,
Okay.
so I can write notes.
Okay. Yeah, it's
Oh,
a there's a
blue and pink
my
and
social number
orange
here on one of
and
them.
blue.
Yeah, it's something we haven't really used before.
Hmm.
That is it. It unfortunately took the export time from the track from about 2 minutes to 25, but it did a really good job.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, that's not too bad though. I mean, set
No.
it and forget it, and then set a reminder to come back and check it.
Yep. And it's better than me having to say like, all right, when he's not talking, I'm just gonna drag the track down. I'm gonna clean all this stuff up. I don't have to do any of that. So 2 thumbs up. Okay. Let me make sure I'm. I got the notes. I got that stuff. Got that. We got the next game. All right. Let me.
There is a cat wearing a lampshade on your advertisement for the stream.
Oh man, I don't even get to see that. What's the cat selling?
I don't know because I have it on mute.
Oh, well, it's a bad
But
ad then.
it's a big fat cat. I mean, imagine, yeah, it's the Secret Life of Pets 2.
This is
Ugh.
really fucked. Okay. I have a Secret Life of Pets too, but it's a dog with a lampshade on it.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
They know us, Moon. They know that you're a cat person.
Logo
Mhm.
marketing.
They
Man.
know that I'm a dog person.
That fucking first movie. My kid loves it, and it is terrible. It's basically
Well,
like the two main dogs in the movie are lovable and very likable. All the other pets in the movie are just weird.
okay. Because the number 2 comes out today,
Ah,
which is the perfect day to get people to go and see your dumb movie about cats and dogs because they can
Right.
go in and just get high and watch it.
before Endgame comes out.
Mm-hmm. Fuck, that's this week, isn't it?
I genuinely have no idea.
It's literally on Thursday, dude. It's like the
Okay.
26th.
I'm just waiting for, like with, what was the previous one?
Civil War, no. Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah. When that one came out, it was just, I know I'm not going to see it for a while. I haven't even seen Infinity War yet. So, like, I know I'm going to get spoiled at some point. I'm going to go,
Hold on,
Okay.
you haven't seen Infinity War yet?
no. We're halfway through Spider-Man Homecoming.
The stream on Twitch just stopped.
Stream on Twitch just stopped. Let's look.
And how did you get through? Maybe it was just my internet. I don't know.
Yeah, it looks good for me.
Yeah, it's still
How-
on my.
How did you get halfway through Homecoming and not watch the rest of it? And don't use the "I have a kid and I'm tired" excuse. That's a great
I wasn't
movie.
tired. It was my kid was tired.
Oh, okay.
And I'm trying to watch them. So Meg and I started them back from the beginning over again. So I'm if it was just me, like well, whatever, like all right, my kid and I will just watch them during the day, whatever. But we're trying to watch them together.
Mhm.
So
And you started over?
this was months ago. Yeah.
Okay.
It was a
I
year
was about to say, this
ago.
sounds like me trying to get my wife to watch the last season of True Blood with me. She's like, no, I don't remember what happened in all the other seasons. We have to watch it over. Like, no, let's just
Please, we can't.
just
I have
start
watched
there.
3.5 seasons of Fringe with my wife.
Oh wow. Yeah, we
And
started over, but we
Fringe-
did skip a couple. Like we didn't watch.
the first Thor movie.
No, we watched that because that movie is really good.
The second Thor movie.
I like the second Thor movie, so we watched that. It has Eccleston in it. It's a good movie. People shit on that movie too much. Whatever, it's good.
Yeah,
Lots of
oh, I
fun stuff
agree.
in that second
Yeah.
movie.
I like them all.
We skipped, I think, Iron Man 3 because we had seen it in theaters.
Fuck you. Iron Man 3 is the best Iron Man movie.
Uh, I think it's really good. What would be my favorite one then?
There's only 3 to choose from because all the rest of them are fucking Cap movies.
I know. 1 is really good. 2 is really good. 3 is really good.
For me, it's 3, 1, 2.
I didn't like Iron Man 2 that much.
I like Iron Man 2 because of the dude that plays Hammer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
From whatever the hell's name is.
I can't remember his name.
He's in like every indie movie.
He's in Charlie's Angels 2, I believe, or 1 as well.
He was
one of them.
He was Guy in that Star Trek Tim Allen movie.
Yeah.
Galaxy Quest.
Galaxy Quest. Thank you. It left like the Orville has replaced Galaxy Quest in my brain to an extent, but Galaxy Quest still has some amazing bits in it.
I know that guy's name. I just
Sam Rockwell. There it is.
Yeah, that's it.
He's always good.
Yes, he is always good, and I think he steals that movie. I mean, the rest of it is fine, but I think he's the real attraction there.
Mm-hmm.
What else did we skip? I think we skipped Incredible Hulk, obviously.
Which one? Hulk or Incredible? Okay, go on.
Yeah,
I'm not going to jump to Ed Norton's defense here. Go on.
And what else? Hold on. Marvel Cinematic Universe. I don't know all the movies
Enjoy
anymore.
the 50 links to trailers for the new Avengers movie.
Oh yeah, God.
How many different trailers are they going to drop?
And they're all like 3 minutes long.
So, true story. I've only seen like 2 trailers for it.
Yeah.
I don't. And I think, heck, did I even watch the second? No, I didn't. Okay, so I saw the weird teaser that showed you nothing, and then I saw the first kind of teaser trailer they released, and I said, you know what, I'm done. I'm not going to watch anything else on this.
Right.
And I've mostly been successful.
We did skip Guardians of the Galaxy because we've seen that so many times.
Okay, I can forgive that one.
I watched Ant-Man, of course. Civil War, Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange is fucking underrated.
I really like Doctor Strange. To me, like, Ant-Man and Doctor Strange are really great standalone movies. Like, don't worry about watching any of the other movies. You can just watch those 2.
I think the thing I love about the Ant-Man movies so much is they're smaller stories. Like,
small stakes.
I wish they would do that more. Like, I don't necessarily want a TV show with all these characters, but I do want to, like, I think that was part of the appeal of Iron Man 3 was like, it was a much smaller story. Like,
yeah, not saving the entire universe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like those types of things.
I think Homecoming is like a triple punch of Thor Ragnarok, Black Panther, and Infinity War.
Honestly, that's kind of why I like Winter Soldier and Civil War so much. Because Winter Soldier it's a game changer because everything changes when it's like Shield equals Hydra. Spoiler alert.
Right.
But it's a very enclosed story. It's not about fucking the latest universe-defining thing. It's like what's right and what's wrong.
Right.
And then Civil War is kind of the same. It's just about what's right and what's wrong, and Cap's on the wrong side in Civil War, just saying. Specifically the movies.
Yeah.
Disagree.
I will get my wife up here and she will argue this point with me for hours.
Are you on different sides of the...
Yes, we are.
Of course.
Maybe it's just Xbox. People who prefer Xbox prefer Iron Man, and people who are patriotic and American like Cap, right. Not dirty foreigners on our soil. No.
Okay, Alex, calm down.
Yeah. So which one is which in the movie? Is Iron Man for registration?
Yes.
Okay.
Same as he is in the comics. But he's for the Accords.
No, it's backwards in the comics.
No, Iron Man's for registration in the comics.
No, Cap is for registration.
No.
Really?
Iron Man is for registration because it's Iron Man who persuades Peter Parker to reveal his secret identity in the comics and announces him at a press conference.
Okay.
I think Iron Man's basically Hitler in the comics.
Right.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
He is. in the comics, like you aren't against. Like, how could anyone read those comics and be for Iron Man?
As I explained this to my wife, I am with Iron Man up to a point, and the point I stop being with Iron Man is when my actual favorite comic book hero goes against Iron Man, and that's the Punisher, which is when Iron Man decides he needs to get the super villains to try and catch the superheroes who don't want to register. So up until that point, I'm all Iron Man, and then as soon as he makes that decision, it's like, fuck you, Punisher's here, let's go.
Man, I gotta go reread Civil War, clearly. I'm looking through my Comixology to see if I own it.
Yeah, actually, when they were coming out with the Civil War movie, I thought, well, they kind of played a lot of the Cap parts of it, of him having to go against S.H.I.E.L.D. in Winter Soldier. So I was wondering how much of that they'd have left, and they give it a completely different story to a degree, but
yeah, I mean, and I actually like the fact that they took it in a different spin, because it becomes less about this whole registration, not registration.
Yeah,
it becomes about, is Cap right to defend Bucky when Bucky's the one who did what he did?
Right.
Look, we're talking about a universe where magic exists and people can be mind controlled. So it wasn't Bucky's fault.
Should he be held accountable, though?
No.
Read Civil War to find out.
We're talking about magic here. If someone magically makes you go murder someone, is it your fault then? No. No, it's not. It's the person who used magic on you. We're talking about elements that don't exist in our real world, so that's my take.
Sadly, I don't own Civil War.
If we were, dude, you should be thankful, because it's like 56,000 different comics from every single story at the time.
See, that's the thing that I like about Comixology, or that Comixology did really well for a long time, and at some point they broke it, and it still frustrates me. Where like you'd be able to read a comic, and it would say, let's say you read Civil War 1. They would say, all right, do you want to continue with like Amazing X-Men 255, the next issue in the overall series, or do you want to read Civil War 2?
Yeah.
And I liked that a lot, because I could read all of them without having to hit the wiki and figure out, all right, I got to buy the Incredible Hulk 533 for the next one.
Yeah, the quote-unquote associated titles kind of thing.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's one of the reasons why I kind of love crossover TV shows like Buffy and Angel, and all of the Netflix Marvel shows and the DC Universe stuff.
Yeah,
they have a crossover episode, but that's it. It's one episode of each show all tied together. It's not like jump from this to this to this, then back to this one, then forward to this one, then this one, then this one.
Right.
There's less of a puzzle. How the fuck did people follow this in the actual days when these comics were coming out?
They had there was like a chart in the back of each issue, if I remember correctly, where it's like, all right, you read this one. If you want to keep reading Civil War, here are the 10 other issues that are coming out this week.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, and speaking as a comic fan that like subscribed to these comics while they were coming out, through late 80s, part of the early 90s, and some of the aughts, like everyone hated when Marvel would do this.
Yeah. Because
you'd be on a really cool story in your whatever comic you had, your Captain America comic or your X-Men comic, and then the Marvel decree of, nope, everyone has to participate in this world-altering event. And suddenly you didn't have your cool story. And like, inevitably there were always things that didn't sync up. Like one of the most glaring ones in Civil War is the main Civil War series written by Mark Millar does this thing where Invisible Woman leaves Reed Richards, right, to go join Captain America. And she writes this big note, and like Mark Millar's kind of a shallow writer. Like I really, really like some of his comics, but at the end of the day, I feel like he has a very shallow take on most characters.
Because he's a shallow human being.
Like hers was a 50s mom, like telling her husband she made him his favorite dinner and she was going to go help the rebels kind of thing. And in all actuality, like Straczynski, is that his name? The Babylon 5 guy.
Yeah, J. Michael Straczynski.
Yeah, he was writing Fantastic Four at the time. And they had like a big like yelling fight like in the comic.
Right.
Like she was pissed because I mean, keep in mind that storyline. Reed Richards cloned Thor, and Thor showed up and just killed Goliath. You know, Lawrence Fishburne's character in Ant-Man 2. But like that was like they had a parody comic at the time that just replaced all of that Thor clone's words with German. It's just like good. This Nazi Thor. Like, I mean, like they named the character eventually, like became called Blitzkrieg too. Like,
oh jeez,
I don't know, but like there's always like flubs like that in the series where the authors don't properly hand it off to each other or misunderstand who's handling what part.
Right.
Yeah.
And, like if I was Straczynski and doing a really cool run on it, and then all of a sudden I have Millar going, no, I want these to fit my archetype for this. Like I'd be pretty pissed off.
Yeah.
I fucking hate Mark Millar so much. This is a guy who, on his own website, if someone doesn't 100% agree with him, he bans them from his website.
Oh wow.
Nice.
Like, he is that kind of person. Worst part is some of the stuff he's done has been gold. He did Red Sun, the Russian Superman storyline.
Yeah,
like,
that was really good.
He did that. And some of his stuff is amazing, but he's a giant fucking tosser. So it's one of those, let's detach the artist from the art and do our best to ignore the fact that he's involved in this kind of thing.
Yeah.
He's I really liked Ultimates 1 and 2 a whole lot when he did those. I really liked Ultimate X-Men on his run on that. I really liked I didn't read his whole run on Authority, but I really liked Stormwatch and Authority. Have you guys ever read those?
No.
Those are really fucking weird series. This is I can't remember who. So someone started writing Stormwatch, and then Warren Ellis took over. And Warren Ellis proceeded.
I fucking love Warren Ellis.
Yeah. So he, if you aren't familiar with Warren Ellis, maybe the most notable thing I can think he's done in recent memory is he wrote the Castlevania Netflix series.
Also, he's responsible for Punisher getting the Max cover line back in the 90s. He's the one who turned Punisher from the spandex wearer to the jeans and the black t-shirt wearer.
I did not know that. Warren Ellis is really, like, his style is usually very funny in places. Like he did Trans Metropolitan.
Gotcha.
I forget what else. But so when he takes over Stormwatch, like they had to have 3 or 4 roster changes in the 20 or so issues he did because he kept killing every single character. And like all these characters were like these super debaucherous, like famous people, and like the characters in Stormwatch are absurd.
I had no idea he was one of the writers of Dead Space.
Oh, I didn't
know that either.
Yeah,
Really?
Warren Ellis, Rick Remender, and Anthony Johnson.
That's awesome.
That makes a lot of sense.
Like he's not by any means like a. How do I put this? He's not like, I know Alan Moore. Not everything he's written is gold, but like Alan Moore is kind of the god tier comic writer to me. So to me, he's not like quite that level, but he does humor better than Alan Moore ever could. And
that's something I've always loved about his stuff, specifically with him as well. Unless he's reined in, his humor is really fucking dark, and that's my kind of humor.
Yeah.
He had a series called No Hero that I follow. I just picked it up because he was doing it at the time. I don't necessarily recommend. I don't actually think No Hero is very good, but like the whole time, like you have this protagonist joining and getting superpowers and this and that, and by the end, like everyone kills each other and everyone's a terrible person. I'm like, oh, that's why you called it No Hero.
Right. That also sounds like a Warren Ellis book.
Yeah.
Oh, the guy who's undying, but doesn't have any superpowers other than that, got launched into space just to continually suffocate for the rest of his life.
Man.
All
right, you guys ready to start this thing?
Yep.
Let's do it.
All right. Let's get started here in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast Game Club. It's the third Saturday of the month, so we're coming together this time to talk about SUPERHOT. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpier.
Hello.
And Musum.
Super hot.
I wanted to make the joke. I really did.
I was hoping you'd say super, and then I said hot. Like, we should have set it up.
We should
take
have.
Two. So, I wasn't expecting us to have to give this warning at the beginning of this episode, but we will. We're going to spoil the hell out of SUPERHOT. If you're listening to this and you haven't gone and played SUPERHOT, this is the one time I'll tell you, just pause and go play it. It's like 3 hours, and then come back and listen to this. It will be well worth it.
And while you're on that, I don't want to tell you to spend $300 and go buy a PlayStation VR and SUPERHOT VR.
Right.
But strongly consider it.
Right. Let's break down the details of the game. Released on February 25th, 2016, and then other platforms coming out after that. Published and developed by SUPERHOT team. Came out on PC, including VR, Xbox One, and PS, including PS VR. Usually I have a section here for characters and plot details, after the infamous Mass Effect game club. I usually write down who the characters are. There aren't any this time.
It's not. It's the red guys.
Right, red guys.
Come on.
And spoilers, red triangle. Time travel, Metacritic 83, OpenCritic 82. Peers for the release date, we have The Flame in the Flood. Controversial game club game here that I have been meaning to get back to. Street Fighter V, Far Cry Primal, and Stardew Valley.
Well, gee, I wonder what stole all the headlines that time period.
Well, let's talk about top of the pile, middle of the pack, or overlooked. I think even with Stardew Valley coming out, I think this was top of the pile at the time.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you had Jeff Gerstmann singing its praises from day one.
Yeah.
I mean, at the very least, you could look at that and say, like, okay, cool, that's a game I have not seen before.
Well, it's a case of everyone was sharing it with their friends and saying that it's the most innovative shooter of all times. Like,
quote, it's the most innovative shooter I've played in years, end quote?
Yes.
Wink.
Man,
exactly.
It is funny to read that line in the game, and people actually said that to a degree about the game. So
yeah, and I'm sort of like, oh no, have I been programmed?
Yep.
So yeah, let's break into what we liked and what we didn't like about SUPERHOT.
I hate to do this, but I'm gonna start this off. It is the most innovative shooter I've played in years. It really is.
It gives you the right prompt. It's one of those games that you hear about. It has a really good elevator pitch, which is time moves when you do. And it's like, okay, cool. Like I get that. I sort of understand that. And then playing it, I wrote down that it reminds me a lot of this intangible thing that Super Meat Boy and Celeste and Bayonetta and games like that have, where it just feels good. And I'm not sure I could explain how, but the game feels so good to play.
Yeah.
It's like they came up with this really cool mechanic, but on top of that, they did it in such a way where they had this ridiculous hacker non-story thing thrown into it.
Right.
And specifically the 90s hacker thing where people of our generation would be able to relate to that. The black and white monitors, the old school DOS prompts, everything like that.
One thing I wrote down in my notes here is that I love the OS interface because it's something so specific to early 90s CRT monitors where you can, it reminds me of going to the library and getting on one of those terminals that's just orange and black. You can see in the game, you can see the individual RGB when it's zooming in on stuff, and it so faithfully recreates how DOS looked at that time and how the monitors looked. There's something so specific that's we ripped this right out of 1993, and I think the three of us are gonna understand that. That's about it.
Yeah,
I kind of feel on top of everything you just said, it's crazy to me that they called this game SUPERHOT, and they had the idea, hey, what if after you beat the level, we play it in real time, so you look like a freaking awesome dude, and we'll chant the game title.
Right. Yeah, this John Woo movie plays that you just created, and then we just say super hot forever.
We'll put the giant words on the screen.
And like, it does the whole export thing as well, where like I know on the PC version you could export it to whatever that website was and see everybody's clips on that site.
It was killstagram.com,
yes.
I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like that's such a
now?
Like on the PC version, like I don't know how it works on the PlayStation version, but on the PC version when it first came out, if you could edit the clip and change the speed and just highlight a specific section, but you could literally hit the export button on the PC version and it would go to one of their sites called like killstagram.com, like Boston said, I think.
Yeah, it's now
called.
superhot.video, it would appear.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And it's literally just a bunch of people uploading their clips on this site of their runs.
Yeah,
it's like that's really good. And on the Xbox version, full credit where it's due. When you export it, it just saves it as a clip. Like
that's great.
It just creates a clip in your library.
That's all I want.
Mm-hmm.
I did not even look into that. I mean, I did go into the weird chat channel it had where it's just the hackers, and they're like, okay, let's start chanting super hot. And
right.
then the guy comes in and messes it up.
Yep.
Yeah.
That thing goes on forever. Like
I sat there for a good 20 minutes because I didn't go in for the longest time, and then when I went in, I'm assuming it started from the beginning and just kept on going.
Right.
And oh boy, that thing just keeps on going.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that surprised me the most about this game is just the amount and the high quality of the writing. Because I thought it was going to be, you load up superhot.exe, and then it's like a traditional puzzle game where it's like, you have 20 levels, and here's level 1 and 2 and 3, and you just sort of go through it, and you just, at the end of each level, you make these cool little action movies. But very early on, the game tells you that that's not the case at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote down the part where it really turned the corner for me, which is we're watching your home, we're watching you, and I was just like, oh no, it's getting serious.
Was that the press the A and the two buttons one by one to get the flashing image as it moves towards your house kind of moment? Because that one was the one that really, that freaked me out a lot.
Yeah, where you're sitting in your room and just like, no.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's me.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Man. So I gotta tell you guys a little bit about the VR version. Just
yes, please.
Yes,
I'm not gonna spoil the thing, but the VR version is one of the most amazing experiences I've ever had, like in video games. The way the game in VR functions is your character is stationary in the game. You're required to use the move controllers, because you can pick up a gun with each hand and you can point forward. You can point directly to your sides. There's actually a trophy for shooting someone without looking at them.
Is it related to John Woo? Please tell me it's got a John Woo reference there.
Probably. I haven't seen a ton of John Woo movies. I know there's doves. I didn't see any doves in the game. The other thing is like the game doesn't have the DOS menu in virtual reality. What it does have is you play through a level or two, and then it boots you into the dude's like computer room, and like you're in this crappy little closet.
I have seen that, yeah.
PCs everywhere, and like to play the next level, like there's always a disc once you get to the we're watching you parts of it, like because it's a completely different game, to be clear. Like it's the same but a completely different story, I guess we could say. Like they just start putting like discs in ridiculous places, like, oh, the disc you have to use now has for some reason broken your monitor screen and is just there and you have to grab it and insert it in the thing. Your achievements or trophies or whatever, those are post-it notes you receive during the level. So like you'll do something and a post-it note will come floating down. You can actually grab it with one of your hands if you want. But when you go back in your apartment, all the post-it notes are to your right on the wall.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
They have now I didn't play any of the endless modes in the 2D version, but they unless they added those weapons to those modes, then the VR version has a greater variety of weapons. They have sawed-off shotguns. They have like handheld miniguns, things like that.
Nope, that's not in the endless mode I played. So unless it's really later on, then that's a VR thing.
Man,
I will also say that you will get every time I played the VR version, it was awesome, and I was sweating by the end.
Yeah, there's a trophy for burning at least 1,000 calories while you're playing.
They literally have a level where there's a giant beam coming towards you, and you can't just I'm playing on my couch. I had to get off of my couch onto the floor and duck below where the seating cushion was on my couch.
That's cool.
To dodge that thing. There's what else can I tell you about the VR thing? I mean, you feel like a Monkey Senior mentioned in our Discord channel that he tended to feel like an action hero god, and that is 100% true.
Yeah,
you just feel absolutely amazing. Just grabbing these different weapons and throwing them in VR and just constantly working both arms in different directions.
Yeah, because even in the non-VR version, hitting an enemy and them losing their gun and grabbing it out of the air in slow motion feels super cool, and I can only imagine how awesome that is in VR.
Yeah. The only negative things I will say about the VR is you can throw weapons too. I can't remember if that was in the 2D version or not.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is. I found it very difficult to aim throwing the weapons. And then the other part is the way the levels are done is each level will be comprised of 4 little areas that you'll have to get through. And if you fail one area, then you start all of them over.
Oh, rough. Okay.
It's still a lot of fun, but the last area, you basically have 3 dudes coming at you, and all you have is a knife and a couple hammers. So you effectively have to pick them up and throw it at the shotgun guy before he gets the shotgun. And that's the other awesome thing you can do. When they shoot at you, you can use your knife or gun to knock their bullets out of the air.
Oh no, that's so cool.
And it's super easy to do. It's not like a thing that you're that just happens once every 10 hours I play. This is constant. I constantly it was a strategy of mine where I'll always have something in the second hand, keep it close to my head so that I can knock whatever's coming off at me.
You're naked snake over there.
But it's a shorter game than the regular one. It does have an endless mode. I didn't try it out. Again, like I said at the beginning, I don't want to tell you guys to spend $300 on a headset and get this game that is by itself $25 on PSN. I assume it's that way on Xbox and Steam, but it would. I really don't think you'd regret spending that money.
So it should, by default, you would recommend it for if you have VR, this needs to be on your list.
100%. This should. If you already have a headset, just go buy it right now.
Yeah, it's Astrobot, Tetris Effect, SUPERHOT.
And SUPERHOT.
Those are the ones you want.
Yeah.
The trophy, by the way, is called Too Cool to Look.
Oh, that's pretty good.
That's good.
That's a good one.
Speaking of which, as the resident trophy/achievement hunter in the household, I can't help but love this game for its trophies. Some of them are very grindy, which, yeah, sure. I'm going to get there eventually. But specifically, I want to call out 2. It's you shot a bullet out of the air with another bullet.
Great.
And that achievement pops up, and then the description for it is, you probably didn't mean to do that. Which I 100% didn't.
That's great.
And then the other trophy is, you sliced a bullet in half with a katana.
Mm-hmm.
And the description says, you probably did mean to do that one. And I bet you feel cool.
That's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
these guys were really in touch with what they were doing stylistically.
Yes.
Yeah, it really persists the whole way. That, it's kind of it initially looks like a really boring world, but you know that the enemies are red guys, and everything you can pick up and attack with or throw is black. And from there on, it's just you kind of know what to do. You just got to figure out all the puzzles. And it's really, and then they add the additional thing of hot switching into enemies at some point, which is really great.
Not gonna lie, the first time I figured out hot switching into an enemy makes them toss their gun away.
Yep.
Like, well, okay, I'm gonna toss my gun at him first, and the second it hits him, hot switch into him, and then the gun is in the air for me to grab, and then immediately start to use.
Oh, nice! I never did that. I should have thought of that.
Yeah, it's really useful
so
too.
good.
Like if you can grab like a billiard ball or a fire extinguisher or something, like there's a ton of stuff in the environment to grab to do that, and you can make some really cool looking replays out of that by just throwing stuff and waiting till the last second and doing that hot switching. And God, yeah, it's great.
Yep.
Your mind is software.
And did you guys? Sorry, go on. I was gonna say.
My bad.
Showrunner first.
Yeah, I feel like the text, the writing they had never really felt really terrible. Like, obviously someone was taking advantage of you as you were going through, but it never felt... It could have felt really gross, and I think they straddled the line really well of not making it clear that they are out to get you and they're doing bad stuff, whoever they are. But I feel like they deserve some credit for the writing being really strong in that regard. Musum, as you were saying.
I don't remember. I was gonna say no. It didn't matter that much. Oh wait, no, yeah, I do. It was the. Did you guys play that stupid "be on the right side of the tree" mini game?
No, yes, I went through all of those menus looking at the fancy design for carpets and the trees and the water simulation and everything else.
I should have gone through that stuff.
Yeah, I got like 200 and something, and then I messed up.
I don't remember how far I got into that. I think I lost at some point, but like the tree game, Boston is. There's a branch on either side of the tree, and you just have to make sure your guy's on the correct side. And like every time you press an arrow key, I think, or something like that, it goes up one, and you're timed on it, so you have to do it quick. It's a really dinky game that's a little bit harder than you would think. But
it's one of those things that would show up on a demo disc in the 90s.
Yes.
Yeah.
One thing at least one final thing I want to shout out is they make you press buttons to type messages.
Mm-hmm.
It's a small thing. It's a tiny, minuscule thing to add to the game. But when you're typing a message out, and in my case, it's pulling the triggers, just going...
Oh, on the PC, it's just like mashing random buttons. It's just like...
That's awesome.
Then hit enter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so great.
Superhot is really great in a way that I feel like I want to recommend people play Superhot, but I can't tell them why.
Yes.
Except it's the most innovative shooter I've played in years.
You should totally try and play it.
Yeah, but like, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't want to tell someone that there's a twist in the movie, because then the twist doesn't.
For the twist.
Yeah, like you're looking for the twist. I don't want someone to tell someone like Superhot is way more than it seems. It's just like, hey man, you should go get Superhot and play it because it's really good. I love for the fact that this is a very basic game, and it is. They have a design in mind, and they nailed that design. They nailed the art style. They nailed the feel of the world. Yet still, I come out with existential questions such as: did I just play the game, or did the game just play me? Right.
Am I playing games at all, or am I being played? It's like,
right. Am I living in the Matrix right now?
Mm-hmm. And is the spoon real?
Right.
Like honestly, I don't know anymore.
Right.
Gosh, I just love how corny the game is.
It is.
It is so like it is that perfect like. I mean, they may as well have. I guess it's more authentic hackers, but like, they may as well have started chanting "Hack the Gibson" at some point in it. You know,
yeah,
like
exactly. Hack the planet. Yeah.
It's that alternate reality that didn't exist. That's amazing. Like, I love how I guess we said we were going to spoil it at the beginning anyway. So I love the whole storyline of, yeah, no, I got this hack game and like it stopped working. Oh no, they updated the copy protection on it. Here's the new password. Plug it in. Oh,
yeah. Here's the new exe. I'm sending it over to you.
Yeah,
But was that person even real?
I love there's two types of free to play. There's free to play with ads and there's free to play with cracks. Was one of my favorite like hack and nerd things in the chat that was said. It's a really good line for that kind of culture. So
good. All right, any last thoughts here about SUPERHOT from any of you guys?
Go play the game. Just go play.
I didn't believe, like, I've been listening to the hype for months, and in my mind it's like, yeah, that sounds like it might be cool.
Yeah,
I'll play it eventually. Just seriously go get it. It's cheap. It's great. It is. You will not regret your time.
It's short. If you're one of those people like us where it's like a game takes less than 8 hours to beat, yes, please.
That's my jam.
Then this is right there.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about our next game then. Talking about another short game here. We have Florence for iOS and Android, the winner of about 80 bajillion awards last year, and will probably take less than 2 hours to complete.
Does it have a machine? Does it have a machine?
I don't know if she has a machine, but you know they have albums if you want to check that out. They did those cool covers for Final Fantasy 15. Those are really good.
Yes, they did.
I just got it.
Yep, I heard the penny drop from you, so it was like great.
Yeah, so we're gonna check out Florence. It's out on iOS and Android. Thank you everyone for listening, and we'll see you all next month.
Bye.
And thanks everyone for joining us on the live stream. We'll see you next time. Bye.